Deep thoughts, shallow host.
All right, let's get into it. You ever walk into your garage and it's just a complete disaster? I mean, piles of junk you never asked for, your neighbor's creepy lawn gnome staring you down, some box from 1998 labeled important that you're too scared to open? Well, that's the world, pal. According to some of my research, done by these real head cases, by the way, we're all just stuck living in a giant, messy garage that someone else filled up with junk. And what are we supposed to do? Sort it out, buzz off.
So, these philosophers, right? They've got a real fancy name for this junk pile we're all buried under. They call it the strata. Ooh, sounds important, doesn't it? Spoiler alert, it's not. It's just the layers of junk.
Okay, let's break this down for you. Strata. You want to know what that really is? Imagine a 7-Eleven burrito that's been sitting in your car for a week. Yeah, it's the geological layers of that thing. You got the cold, hard, cheesy layer on top, then that weird, questionable bean paste layer, and then that mysteriously crunchy layer at the bottom. It's all just these rigid, organized layers of absolute nonsense. Your job, your family, society, it's all just different layers of a burrito somebody else made, and they're telling you which part to eat first. It's ridiculous.
And get a load of this. Look at this. They took Einstein, a guy whose hair was basically a cosmic event, a beautiful, chaotic mess, and they squashed him. They mashed him down into a bunch of boring, straight, predictable lines. They stratified him. That's what these systems do, see. They take something that's wild and brilliant and they turn it into a friggin' barcode. You silly geese, leave the man's hair alone.
So, here's the deal. You're stuck in the junk pile. What are you gonna do? You can't just sit there and cry into your box of 90s Beanie Babies. No, you need tools. You need like a philosophical crowbar to pry your way out of there. And believe it or not, these head cases, they actually came up with a couple of decent ones. And this right here is the first tool. Turns out there are two ways to think about things. First, you've got your tree thinking, like a family tree or one of those corporate flow charts. It's all top down. One main root, a trunk, a bunch of little branches. Boring. But then you got rhizome thinking. Now, what's a rhizome? It's a weed, my friend. It's that mint your neighbor planted 3 years ago that's now in your lawn. It's coming up through your driveway and it's probably in your kitchen. It connects everywhere, underground with no rules. That's how you got to start thinking, like a weed. Okay, so you're thinking like a weed now. Great. What's next? You build yourself an assemblage. And look, that's just a fancy pants word for taking all the junk around you and building something totally new with it. It's when you grab a lawnmower engine, the wheels off a busted shopping cart, a couple of 2x4s, and you build a go-kart that runs on pure spite. See? You've made your own thing out of the garbage. You've staked out your own little territory.
But hey, you're not just building a go-kart to terrorize the neighborhood cats. No. Because hidden in all this philosophical junk, there's a blueprint, a schematic for a real-deal escape. So you got to ask yourself, right? What's the point of all this? Why are we thinking like weeds and building these spite mobiles? Where are we going with this thing? Is there even a point? Or are we just making an even bigger mess in the garage?
The point is this. This is what these guys call the plane of consistency or the body without organs. Okay, forget the fancy words for a second. It's the open highway, all right? You've busted out of the lumpy, pothole junkyard of your life, and now you're cruising on a smooth, open road with no cops and no speed limit. And a body without organs? That just means you're not defined by your parts anymore. You're not just a liver, a spleen, and a job title. No, you're pure potential. You're the whole damn car.
Okay, so you got the go-kart, you got the open road ahead of you, but you need an engine. You need to know how to power this damn thing. And I gotta tell you, this is where these guys' brains turn into a bag of wet squirrels. It gets a little complicated, but don't worry, I'll make it simple for you.
Your go-kart has 4 parts. Listen up. Part 1, content. That's the junk, the shopping cart, the lawnmower engine. It's the stuff it's made of. Then you got part 2, expression. That's the roar of the engine, the skull you spray painted on the front. It's what your go-kart says to the world. Part 3 is your territory. That's your corner of the garage, the oil stains on the floor. It's your turf. And then number 4, this is the most important one, deterritorialization. That's the hole you just blasted in the wall. It's the escape route. It's the line of flight itself.
Which, naturally got me thinking. I figured, hey, I'm a smart guy. I can do this. I'm going to take this philosophical crowbar of mine, and I'm going to bust myself out of the ultimate junk pile.
So I went to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. The absolute peak of rigid, soul-crushing strata. This is the final boss of organized misery. And I thought, if I can deterritorialize here, I can do it anywhere.
So I walked in, And instead of taking one of those little paper tickets, I grabbed a spatula I brought from home, and I held it up. This was my assemblage, me and the spatula. I decided right then and there that this spatula was now my official government ID, it was my proof of insurance, and it was my emotional support animal. I was making new connections, you see. Now, I'd love to tell you it worked, that they saw my genius, they applauded, and they gave me a license plate shaped like a star. But, no. My attempt at deterritorialization mostly involved a lot of shouting, a whole lot of confused looks, and a security guard who, turns out, did not appreciate my rhizomatic approach to queuing. It was chaos. Pure, beautiful chaos.
So, what's the takeaway from all this? Is this just a bunch of nonsense from some guys who thought a little too hard about stuff? Maybe. Or maybe it's just a reminder that sometimes, to get anywhere new, you gotta be willing to look like a complete and total maniac holding a spatula at the DMV.
I remember it clear as day. As that security guard was dragging me out, I looked him right in the eye. I said, "Buddy, I'm not waiting in line. I'm operating on a plane of consistency. My body has no organs, and my car is a sentient swarm of angry hornets." He didn't get it. But hey, maybe, just maybe, you do. Now think about that for a minute.